Yo, welcome into episode 23. So we mentioned on the closing of last episode that we are doing first base re-tiers this go around. We are taking the top 12 or so first basemen and re-tiering them. We're taking whose list of tiers is that, Tommy, that you have? Is that just the top 12 ranked first baseman, or what do you got that we're going to be going through?
Yeah, so preseason we had a consensus ranking that we went off of. Just not we. Everybody has their own opinion. But I think this was the consensus rank, which started out Freddie Freeman first, followed by Vlad, Paul Goldschmidt, Pete Alonso, and then entered really a new tier: Matt Olson, Vinny P, Jose Abreu was the number 7 ranked first baseman. So keep that in mind. Anthony Rizzo, Reese Hoskins, RIP, Nate Lowe, Christian Walker, CJ Crone. That rounds out the top 12, and a couple names to rattle off. Probably in the 4th tier: Josh Bell, Andrew Vaughn, Rowdy Tellez, Cronenworth, Vargas, Ty France. So those are some of the names that were lesser known in fourth level of tiers. And so I'd be curious to see. That was for points leagues, by the way. So now I'm curious to see how that plays out. We won't go 20 deep like I just mentioned off, but in our tiers versus preseason rank, because I can tell you now, just looking at this list, there's been some changes. There's been some movement for sure.
Oh, for sure. Our tiers. We've got 4 tiers we're going to do. It's pretty simple to follow along. We've got our top tier of elite. These are the guys who are going to never leave your lineup. The next, we've got guys who we can't quite call elite. That's why it's called the near elite tier. Tier 3 is a good starter. Guy who, if you were offered an elite player, you would easily replace him. And our last tier, we have it listed as wish you had better. So these are definitely guys that you have the bottom of the barrel of first base or of this tier, and you just can't seem to have any luck at the position. That you just wish you had something better for the position. So to get right into it, Tommy, who's our first guy that we're going to re-tier?
Yeah. I, do we want to talk about Yandy Diaz? We kind of ranked him in the third base rankings.
Yeah, I don't think he's first base.
Okay,
Yeah,
he's
let's
someone.
skip him because he's the lead regardless. So
He's elite regardless.
How about we
So
go
let's
with
knock him out.
Matt Olson? He's someone that's intriguing and I think maybe somewhat difficult to place. He could fit in a couple categories depending who you ask.
So right now he's the third scoring first baseman with a batting line of 233, 360, 509. Is second in home runs and for first baseman. Wes, what do you think?
yeah, I'm gonna go elite. I think he's probably fourth or fifth for me, behind Freeman, Alonso, Goldschmidt, and maybe Yandy Diaz and Guerrero. So maybe I think I'm gonna put him in the elite tier. Barely.
See, that's interesting. I have him at the very top of the near elite. So it sounds like you and I have him back to back or even in the same spot. It's just
Yeah.
where does the coin fall? And that's I think exactly where the debate would be was is elite or near elite. I don't think there's any other question about that. I, I don't like his strikeout rate and his batting average. His home run, his power is unquestionable. You can't deny that. But he's got 82 strikeouts to 44 walks. The next closest guy is Brian Mountcastle, 61, followed by Nate Lowe at 57. And
How
I just
dare you
don't
not include the Oakland A's first baseman?
where.
Ryan Noda at 70. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, sorry, he's way too far down on my list.
Yeah.
The 17 home runs is hard to question. Braves just won. It sounds like.
Z.
We're recording this episode on Thursday night as the Braves are playing the Mets, and that's a sweep for them, isn't it?
That's a sweet baby. Let's go. Break out the brooms.
So speaking of Braves players, Matt Olson. I don't know. Burns, you're going to take tiebreaker. I have him at near elite just because if anything, if his power goes away, he's got nothing.
Take away 5 home
Um,
runs, and where's he drop? So that's about 30 points. He would drop down there with Luis Urias, Spencer Steer, and Christian Walker.
He's maybe not even top 10 in points to date.
Yeah.
It'd be
But-
close. So just
so-
take away 5 of those home runs.
That's a lot. I mean, that's a third of them. I think it's unfair, but I
that
think
puts him in about the average where the first basemen are.
yeah, I think he's really a one-tool player. He's got power. That's about it.
Yeah, those strikeout. I was thinking elite until I saw that strikeout number of 82, and oof.
Yeah, if he
Now-
if he struck out 50 times, so Pete Alonso, same profile, right? A lot of home runs, almost the exact same average. Has struck out 51 times to Matt Olson's 82, and he has 14 more points. Like if Matt Olson struck out 30 less times right now, I mean, he would be right there with Freddie Freeman.
Now Matt Olson also has 44 walks to Pete
That's what I was
Alonso's
about to say.
27. So
Right.
he does have good eye, but he's swing and miss. A lot of swing
Does
and
he
miss
have
in
a
the
good
game.
eye, or does he just sit there and wait for his home run pitch, and that's why he either walks or strikes out to hit the home run?
I don't know. I haven't watched enough games to tell you.
Well, I think there's some truth to that, honestly, because he is pretty patient at the plate, and sometimes he'll get into counts, and guys just don't want to pitch to him when they get behind in the count.
So where are we putting him, Burns? You gonna make the tiebreaker?
Looking at where he's at and what he's doing right now, I'm going to put him in the elite category.
The very bottom.
Yeah, and that's I think where he was preseason. He was teetering elite, near elite. But for right
Wait, did you
now,
say elite?
I said elite.
Okay.
At preseason, he was teetering elite and near elite. And
Yeah, so I don't think he's
home run
moved.
numbers at least are backing it up. He's on pace for 45 home runs. I think he'd be pretty happy if he had that in your fantasy lineup. He's on pace for 562 points. I'd be very happy to have that guy on my team. And that's replaying what he did last year, 564.
Yeah.
All right, next guy, Tommy. That's Matt Olson in the elite category. First guy.
I already gave one. Well, Wes picked
Oh,
one.
I thought you were listing them all. Okay, go ahead. Wes.
I'll go.
All right, let's go Goldschmidt. And for me, it's pretty obvious. Like he's elite.
But he started the year not that way.
No, he started pretty slowly, and I might dig into this a little bit, but I think all of the World Baseball Classic hitters kind of started slowly.
I
Like,
beg
you
to
guys-
differ. He went 29,
Really?
29,
I know,
11,
I looked at that and I
32,
said that too.
33.
But now think of it. The week one though was a long.
Yeah, the week
29
one was right.
All right.
He started.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. Call it what it is.
He won MVP last year. He's an
Yeah.
MVP candidate this year. Probably not going to win it. He's a perennial 500-point player.
So we know where he fits. Let's save some time for some other guys.
Yeah.
Elite.
Yeah, elite.
Goldie. Elite.
All right, Nathaniel Lowe. Where's this guy at? 279, 355, 443 slugging. He is the 5th scoring. Do I have the right? Skipping Yandy Diaz. He's the 5th scoring fantasy first baseman.
This one's tough for me.
He's definitely not
You
elite in my
love him.
book.
You love him, Wes. You
I
always
do. I love him, man. I've loved Nate Lowe. I picked him up. He's been he was in my minors for 2 years. I had him on my roster for 2 years after he graduated.
So
Go ahead.
For me, the debate is between bottom of near elite or top of good starter.
Yeah, that's exactly where I got him.
Okay. I think, especially the team he's playing with right now, the counting stats are through the roof. He's on pace for right at 500, which we generally say is right around the elite category. I don't think he'll actually get it. I think he'll slump a little bit and probably end up 450, 475. His top scoring year was 2022 at 422 / 300, 358, 492. Very respectable, but he's not elite. You could talk me into bottom of near elite.
For a first baseman, only not slugging in the 500s. I don't know. I look at it, there's not a lot of first basemen slugging the 500s, just the tip tops.
He's only on pace for 18 home runs, and first base and third base are kind of those power positions you want to get your home runs from.
Right.
Yeah, the one thing that I would say about Nate Lowe is just his swing profile, and if you look at his numbers against high velocity, he does not have great numbers against high velocity guys. So that's the one thing where I'm like, I think he's bottom of near elite. What he was the number one hitter at the position last year from the All Star break on. I mean, I think he hit three. I'll have to go look up the splits, but I think he hit like 330 or 340 second half of the year. So it's there. The potential is there to be, that top end of the near elite tier, but I'm gonna put him at the bottom end of the near elite.
Yeah, last year post All-Star break, he hit 339, slugged 566.
You know what? It's something that just stood out to me, and I don't, take what you want to do with it. But he's played 61 games, which puts him on pace for 162 games. How valuable is that? Not only as a fantasy asset, just as an MLB asset. That alone, with the fact that last year he hit 27 home runs, so I think as the summer months warm up, he may take that pace from 18 to 20, mid 20s. I think my vote's going to be bottom of the near elite team.
I think Nathaniel Lowe just tripped in the shower and broke his ankle.
Yeah. One thing I'm going to need him to change, though, is this profile pic on CBS Sports. I'm going to need you guys to go look at that. What is going on here?
The mustache is something that's in Tommy Moore earlier this year.
Well, it's the mustache with the smile. Like, man, this is Nate Lowe. Get it together, bud. Come on.
Tony, I need one other vote.
I've got him in the near elite because he consistently is scoring in the mid 20s, and that if he could get into the 30s, that would make him okay.
Yeah, week after week, he's teetering between 15 and 25. So
if he could get one more level and teeter between 20 and 30,
that's a good spot for him.
All right, Thomas.
I have another guy that I have no idea how to rank him, and I think he's more of a second baseman than a first baseman. Do we throw Luis Arraez in here?
I think so.
Wes doesn't seem convinced.
No, I'm going to. Right.
He started every game at second base with the Marlins. That's the only reason I say no.
All right, we'll take him off the list. We'll go with someone we talked about already, Pete Alonso. I think he's elite. He's got buku power. That's kind of about it. His batting average is mediocre. His on-base percentage is mediocre.
His strikeout is better.
Yeah, but he hits the ball. He hits the ball hard. He hits it a lot. 49 RBIs. He leads the position. 41 runs. He's up there in the position. Mets are good for the most part. 22 home runs. He leads definitely position, if not all of baseball.
You can let them say that, Wes? Mets are good? I guess they're not bad.
They're not bad.
I don't know, man. Did you see what you see my Instagram post earlier? I mean, I don't know. They were preseason darling. Everybody wanted the Mets to win. They're
Tell me how you really feel.
The Mets are good, honestly. With Scherzer and I almost said DeGrom, and Scherzer and Verlander being out the first part of the year for the Mets, like I just don't feel like they've hit their rhythm yet. I expect that they will at some point in time, but I mean it's getting pretty late in the season. So for me, sorry, Tommy, did you put Alonso in a tier?
I had him in the elite. I had him in the elite tier.
I would say he's elite. Look, he's going to be the home run leader, and he has the exact same average as Matt Olson minus 30 plus strikeouts. So
that's the difference.
Yeah, that's the difference for me.
My only concern about this is we're going to have the top, there might be like 6 or 7 elite people, but I mean, there's maybe how first base plays out. It's top heavy.
The first tier, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it falls off.
I feel like, the first base is one of those, like, there's 4, 5, 6 elite guys, maybe 1 or 2 near elite guys, and then 5, 6, 7, good players, right?
Yeah.
So let's just finish off that elite category then with Vlad Guerrero.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any disagreement on that one? So
nah.
I think Vlad's even started a little slow.
He did. It would not surprise me if he ends the year as the number 2 first baseman. If not, I mean,
Behind
the number
Freddie.
1. Yeah.
Yeah, he tweaked his knee, and basically since that moment 2-3 weeks ago, he hasn't been the same. So I would be surprised if he's playing through something. But he could also very easily lead the whole league in points. He almost did like 2 years ago. So what was that? 2021, 641 points, 600 slug. I mean, he's a beast.
So okay, since we did Vlad really easily, let's go with Anthony Rizzo. He's got a line of 289, 363, 477 with 11 bombs.
I think he's a good starter. He's up there in age. He doesn't have what he used to be. I think he used to be in the near elite tier. He was a pretty consistent, close to 500, about 500 guy when he was with the Cubs. The last couple of years, he slowed down a little bit. He really takes advantage of the short porch at Yankee Stadium. Watched a decent amount of those games. Right now, he's on pace for 420 points. I just think he's a good starter. I don't think he's going to take a next step at this point in his career.
Wes?
Yeah, he's a good player for me. I think he's on the backside of his career. The fact that he's hitting 289 right now is pretty great for me. I mean, I think that's one of his best averages he's had in a long time. 11 home runs. You know, if he was striking, he struck out 59 times. That's a little excessive, but he's always been that way.
Right now he's usually in 2022 he only struck out 100, so he's on pace the same. So he's on pace for more strikeouts this year.
Yeah,
typical.
right. It's kind of average for him specifically. So I would say he's a good player. I would say there's plenty of players out there that would be below him, but there's outside of the elite guys, like there's not many players ahead of him in the near elite tier.
So do you want to try and find those other near elite players to fill in the gap? Because right now the only near elite we have is Nate Lowe. I'm struggling to find anybody else I want to put in that tier.
The only one I might put in that tier is Christian Walker.
So for Anthony Rizzo, for me, I think what makes him a good starter is I think he's a low floor, or I mean a high floor. Look at his with that average, like Tommy said, he's got this sort of short porch, so it could be just an easily poke over to make him have a good week, like he did in week 6, 39 points. He's consistently scoring probably about 20 points a week, almost. He's got 3 weeks where he didn't do that. So I think that's what makes Rizzo, Rizzo's 100% owned. And looking at his trends, you wouldn't think that he'd be a 100% owned type of player. But I think people just feel safe with him because he's got a high floor.
Yeah, he's about as consistent as it gets at the position. Him and Freddie, and maybe Goldie, you know exactly what you're getting with Rizzo.
Right. So do we all say good starter for him?
Yeah,
good starter.
That was my pick. Tommy, you're up.
Well, yeah, Weston already mentioned Christian Walker, probably the last guy we could debate in the near elite tier. And I'm pretty torn between near elite and good starter. Kind of just looking into him. He had one good week. We had a 40-point week. Everything else has been between 15 and 20. We had 23, but 15 and 20. I'm just not sold on him being near elite. He had a good year last year.
He's got the tools to be near elite, but he's not playing that way.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to put it. Maybe by the end of the year, we revisit this in a couple months, and he's continued to press and improve. You can convince me he's near elite, but I think he's probably at the top of the good starter tier.
If Christian Walker would go off, the Diamondbacks could win the division. They're in first place
Oh,
already
yeah.
with him doing mediocre. When I say that he's 254, 321, 475 with 12 bombs, I still think that's mediocre for what he could do. So
Yeah, I would
okay.
agree. I mean, I
Yeah.
think Walker has the profile where he can hit 30 home runs, right?
What did he get
And
last year?
last year he was at 36,
Yeah.
right? So 35 home runs, 40 home runs, even 40 is like within striking distance for him. And if Walker hits 40 home runs, like he's in the near elite tier. There's no doubt about it, right?
Yeah. He's on pace for 31. I think he could get hot as the weather gets hot in Arizona or hotter in Arizona.
Hunter. Right.
So I would. He's a good starter right now with the potential. I think the biggest potential would be near elite.
That was Christian Walker, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would.
So I'm gonna take that as Wes's pick, and I'm gonna take the elephant in the room. Any guesses to who I'm picking?
Ty France.
No, Jose Abreu.
Oh.
Oh,
The elephant in the room.
Oh.
The $60 million elephant in the room. At one point in our career, our lifetimes playing fantasy, he was an elite player. You know, it was just a points league specialist. He did it all. Last year, he may have been a near elite player. I think he won Cy Young or MVP in 2021. How can you not call a guy? Yeah, he and I can't remember.
MVP and he scored less than 500 points. That's crazy.
Maybe it was 2020. Maybe it was a shortened season.
It was 2020.
Yeah. But anyways, I think basically every year he's gone down a tier, and I have no other place to put him right now. But I wish you had better. Not only because what he's done in the done over the last 2 months, but also what I think he's going to do moving forward, which is little to nothing. I think he'll get better. There's no way he's going to be what he is, but I don't want him over anybody we talked about.
When your on base percentage at first base is higher than your slugging percentage.
Yeah.
The only reason someone should have Jose Abreu on their roster right now is if you're in a dynasty league and you paid such a low price for him that it warrants you actually waiting to see if he turns it around.
If you're in a dynasty league, you have some kids that you can be playing right now instead.
Yeah, right. Like,
I think the only
I'm not saying you should. I'm saying it's time to move on.
The only reason
pick
you
up a
should-
Nolan Jones and see if Nolan Jones can,
Yes.
start at first
Nolan
base, right? And like that's a perfect example.
I think the only reason
absolutely.
you should have him on your roster is if you ended up going to jail and you don't have a cell phone or computer to change your lineup to drop him, and therefore he's stuck on your roster. That's the only justification.
At least
if you're in
at
prison.
Houston
least
fans still have him.
pick
There's
somebody
roster.
up. At least pick somebody up and put them in the starting lineup, and then put him, in the closet somewhere.
You've got to be
Hide him.
you got to be stupid to still have him on your roster today. Not alone, let alone starting him.
Stupid to be starting him, yeah.
You are stupid if you start him
The
today.
problem is why some people are going to be holding on to him is because he's hitting in that Houston.
Which
Yeah.
isn't as good as it has been in the past. They have
Still good.
Yeah, I think for him though, it's just the Crawford boxes. Like the appeal of the Crawford boxes in Houston for Jose Abreu is, yeah, it was appealing before the season. It's not now.
His eyes got too big.
So yeah, look, for me, he's going to be in the wish you had better.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so let's go with Wes. Let's just go with another guy that you love, and Ty France.
Man, I'm upset about Ty France because before he got hurt,
you can tell that was passion right there. Man.
before he got hurt last year, he was leading the AL in hitting. I mean, he was in like 360. I don't know, man. Right now, he's a good player this season. I don't know that I can put him anywhere else. He's definitely not near elite. And I mean, I'm flipping back and forth
best
between
goal?
him. Average. which he's hitting 276 right now, 272. And I think the thing for me last year was like he showed a lot more pop than we anticipated. Like it was a lot more home runs than we ever thought Ty France could hit. And he hasn't necessarily shown that same ability this year. So that was the one thing that drew me to him because, yeah, the average 270, 280, he could hit 300. I mean, he could honestly hit 340. He has that hitting ability. If he's hitting 15, 20 home runs, like that makes him a really good first baseman. If he's hitting 320 with 15, 20 home runs, so yeah, that's near elite. But that is not the player that Ty France is this year. He's been a little frustrating. He's been slumping most of the year.
Mariners.
Yeah, like just the Mariners team in general. So for me, he's middle of the mid tier, the good player tier.
Respectfully, if I have him on my roster, I wish I had better. He's probably the top of the wish I had better, but I'm just looking at some of the names. He is the number 12 scoring first baseman from year to date. Really, over the last month, he's maybe top 20, top 15. But I'm looking to improve if I've got him on my roster.
Yeah.
Maybe I could if somebody would text me back.
Yeah, he doesn't have much of a history to like believe that he's gonna turn everything around and be a star player for me. He has potential to be a good starter, but I want somebody better.
I'll put him at the top of the wish you had better tier.
It
Just
doesn't
because I don't want
matter.
to hurt. I don't want to hurt Wes's feelings.
Yeah, no. Like I can get on
Yeah, that's a
board
good
with
point.
that. Honestly, like yeah. You get no argument from me there. That's just reality.
Why don't you name somebody else so we can figure out Ty France?
All right. This is going to be somebody that just got so much hype preseason. Vinny P.
Yes.
Vinny P, baby.
Yes.
He got so much hype, man, because of his peripherals. Wow, I cannot say that word. His on-base percentage, his eye at the plate, he walked a lot. He didn't strike out that much. He provided pop. He was going to be a mid to upper average guy. Look, I don't necessarily know if it's singular Vinny P as much as it is the Kansas City Royals. But right now, he hasn't lived up to the hype that we gave him in the fantasy world preseason, so I'm gonna say he's wish you had better.
I'd give him a good starter, maybe the lower half of the good starter. I think he had hype for a reason. He was a good prospect. He was hitting really well with Kansas City. He just hasn't shown it yet, and I don't think he's shown anything that shows he can't turn it on and be a good player. I don't think he'll ever make it to the elite tier. He may make it to the bottom of the near elite tier one day, but I'd put him at the bottom of a good starter.
Oh, you're talking about his career, Tommy, right now?
Vinny P?
Yeah.
I have faith in him going to be good. I'm not elite, but
yeah. You're talking about the guy's career, not just this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, career is he only played last year for 72 games, but
I know, but you're saying the way you're talking right now, you're like he'll never be elite in his career.
yes, I will never put him. I don't think he'll ever be a Matt Olson, Goldie, Vlad, Freddie caliber player. I think he can be a Nate Lowe for sure. I think he can easily be a near elite player one day.
So if you guys pull up his trends up until 3 weeks ago, I could argue that he was a near elite player. But then all of a sudden you look at his last 3 weeks, and he has fallen off. But what gives you hope and keeps him out of that bottom category is that strikeout to walk ratio.
Yeah.
So
That's what I was just looking at.
Yeah, he has the potential to hit for average and hit home runs. And he's not doing either one of them, but he's not striking out at a high rate, which gives you hope. really surprised if we haven't pulled out a BABIP or a WOBA yet or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean,
That's true.
at the start of May, he was batting somewhere between 290 and 280, and now he's at 250. It tells you how quickly he dropped off. It's only been 4 weeks. And that's what I said. I think he has the potential to be a near elite player, and it wouldn't take much to convince me of that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. He could be an elite player one day when Freddie, Vlad, Goldie, Madelson are all gone. But and Spencer Steer's not in the way of that because he's a Reds player, and I'm hyping the Reds train.
I'm not gonna say he's never gonna be elite because the one guy that he reminds me of, and I hate to even make this comparison, but he reminds me of Freddie Freeman when he came up with the Braves.
That's not fair. Don't do that to Freddie.
That's a completely different team.
Freddie in the minor leagues of Freddie Freeman right now.
Like, look at his minor league numbers, man. Like, the only thing that I would say is that Vinny P actually struck out less than Freddie.
I was going to say the exact same thing, Wes.
So is he a good
like?
Is he a good starter or is he near elite right now?
Right now, I would say, wish you had better because I just feel like points wise, he hasn't scored that many points. I mean, sorry, I lost him. Where is he at? He's at
162.
162 and a half, right? I will say this, though. Of anybody on this list, he has the most potential to jump tiers than any other player. By the end of this season, Vinny P could easily be in the near elite tier.
Burns, give us your unbiased, keyword there, unbiased opinion on where he falls in the tiers.
If I was going to use my bias, I'd like this dude is near elite until the last few weeks. So he's a good starter. You can't name a near elite player when he scored 6, 12, and 13 in the most recent weeks.
Yeah. No, you've got a point.
If he would have continued his trends, he was in, like we talked about, the 20s, the low to mid 20s. And if he could just jump up to the 30s, that's near elite to elite.
Agreed. All right, I've got one more guy that I don't want to say was hyped coming in here. Well, I want to give an honorable mention to Rhys Hoskins. He's not going to be on this list, but I think he would be somewhere between near elite and good starter when he's playing us towards ACL, like one of the first games of the season, if not in spring training. I don't remember.
Spring training.
Was it spring training? So he's not going to make this list, but that's where he'd fall for me. But Josh Bell was, never a standout player, and he got picked up by the Guardians, and really thought he would do really well there. And he's done borderline nothing to date. I don't even know where he falls in this chart. He's so far down. There he is. 112 points, batting 231, 330, 354. His slug is just 24 points above his on-base percentage.
The only thing the guy's done is almost walked as much as he struck out.
Yeah, which isn't...
Maybe.
Well, I guess
I don't even know if I could say that.
2-to-1 ratio is typically his profile, somewhere around there. Less than 2 to 1.5 to 1. I don't know, man. He's monster. He's huge. He's 6'4", 240.
He's got home runs.
I think he's past his prime, though.
He's 30.
He never hit it.
Yeah, I think that's probably a better way of saying it. I just don't know that he ever hit his potential.
2019 was all he had. 37 home runs.
Yeah.
So maybe
COVID killed him.
I wish
remember, this is what you think they're going to do moving forward, not what you did in the past.
I would rather have Vinny P than Josh Bell.
Who would you rather have? Oh, that's easy.
Easily.
Come on. Who would you rather have, Jose Abreu or Josh Bell?
Jose Abreu.
Josh Bell.
Pass. All right. Burns, give us a pick.
First base. We've talked about the top guys, elite, near elite guys.
We've got 12 names.
I'm going to go with Ryan Mountcastle here. He's got a line of... I think he started the year pretty good, but he's got a line of 231, 269, 420, 11 home runs.
So
Yeah, he had back-to-back 30-plus weeks, and really not much else after that. I think he's had a hard start. I'm in the opinion he's a good starter.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm looking at the lines, and the player that he's right next to and has scored the same amount of points is Anthony Rizzo. The one difference between he and Rizzo is Rizzo's hitting 289 and he's hitting 231.
He's just got more doubles than the guy.
Yeah, like he's hit more doubles, he's slugged more. Well, his slugging's lower than Anthony Rizzo's, but 11 home runs, 1 triple, 12 doubles. I guess the 44 singles do count for Rizzo. Yeah, I think for me, Mountcastle's a good starter.
I think he's a good starter, but it wouldn't take much for me to wish I had better as well.
Now, we talk about he has the same amount of points as Rizzo. He's got a worse average than Rizzo. The only reason we liked Rizzo as a good starter was because he's a high floor. This guy doesn't have a pedigree of a floor. His floor is 359 last year.
Well, I think he's got a high ceiling. I think he's got a ton of power potential.
Yeah, but he
plays in a good team. Counting stats could be there. He's just not playing good. His last 7, he's batting 182 for 3 points in the last 7 days.
Mountcastle and Gunnar both playing to their potential. And the Orioles
Gunnar hit a
are still
home run
in second
today.
place.
Hey, just wait for Gunnar. It's coming around. Telling you.
I've got another name that I think is going to fall in the good starter category, but Justin Turner. His consistency over the last, what I feel like, decade, really, with the Dodgers and now the Red Sox, he's just consistent. His slash line's nothing impressive. 260, 343, 408. He doesn't really have power anymore. But week after week, he's doing 21, 27, hit a 5, 19, 18. You're just happy to have him on your team. I think we talked about him on third base ranks.
He's got 0 ceiling.
But he's a good starter, isn't he?
Yeah, I would put Turner in a good starter. He's just consistent, man.
What's his trends look like? Let me pull that up.
They meet your criteria.
He's at 260, 7 home runs.
He's got the same
he doesn't
type of
strike
trend.
out. He's only at 30. He's only at 39 strikeouts. Like
he's got the same type of trends as Vinny P. Great weeks 1 through 7, and kind of the last few weeks didn't fall off nearly as much as Vinny P did. But so you guys both say good starter.
I'm gonna put him in the good. Yeah, I'm gonna put him in the good starter, man. I just like he's consistent. Like I guess the consistency of it is as long as I know what I'm getting from a guy, like I can start him.
Yeah. If he's your last pick and you're pretty happy with him.
Yeah.
It's another low floor.
Is that enough names or anybody else you guys want to highlight?
I got 2 more guys.
And you got to talk about Andrew Vaughn. Is that one?
Yeah, that was going to be one of the 2.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah. So I'll take the one after that. But so Andrew Vaughn, I mean, we just been waiting on him to break out. Like he's just going to be this guy, you know. Like every scouting report you saw, like he came out of college and just was the best hitter in that draft, best hitter in the minor leagues. Yeah, he was ready. He went from high A to the MLB.
Did he really?
Like, yeah. He literally went from high A and then he started with the White Sox the next year. So, I don't know. Maybe he's just learning at the MLB level. I'm not sure, but like he certainly has not provided the power that we thought. Yeah, he's a good hitter, but for a guy that had a 70 hit tool, he's hitting what 243 right now.
249.
249. I guess I'm a little frustrated with Vaughn because there is so much more there for him. Like the potential, there's so much more potential for him there. I'm gonna put him at the bottom end of the good player tier, and he's on the edge of wish I had better.
Yeah, if I'm rostering him, I probably wish I had better. Which is funny because he's scored more points than Justin Turner, and I think Justin Turner's a good starter.
See, I would argue Turner's wish he had better than Vaughn is good starter because Vaughn has the better potential. I'll take potential over the floor.
You guys want to say good starters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's fine. I'm not that torn over it, so I'll let it go. All right, here's your last pick, Wes.
I'm going to mention him just because he has first base eligibility, and I feel like we need to talk about him. And I don't know if we will get to him in the outfield tiers. So Lamont Wade.
Oh.
Look, he's only 57% owned in CBS leagues. I mean, look, the guy's hitting 288, 8 home runs, scored 165 and a half, and he's done it in 184 at bats, whereas most of these other guys the guys around him have 220, 230 at bats. I don't know, man. I feel like Lamont Wade has kind of put himself on the map a little bit.
He's got a 1-to-1 K to walk ratio. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like how he's an older breakout player, 29 years old, playing for the Giants, who isn't great. I'm just not high on him for those reasons, and that he has no history in MLB. You look at, he played 77 games last year, 109 2021, with nothing to boast high about. Didn't have the same type, so he doesn't have the background to back up to give me good feels about a Giants player. But I'm would say for first base that I wish I had better.
Yeah, for me, I think he's right there with Andrew Vaughn he's the bottom end of good player.
Yeah, I'm going to vote with Wes. I think he's a good starter, but I don't feel good about it. If that makes sense.
Okay.
All right.
So, all right. Well, how many guys is that, Tommy?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 16.
And we got one guy in the near elite tier.
I saw that too.
Yep.
We got one guy.
And we talked about that. It's very top heavy.
Nathaniel.
So let me go over that real quick. Tier 1, Freddie Freeman. Tier 1, the elite tier. Freddie Freeman, Vlad Guerrero, Paul Goldschmidt, Matt Olson, Pete Alonso, in no particular order. Tier 2, near elite. It's just the lone Nathaniel Lowe. Tier 3 is a good starter. In no particular order, Vinny P, Christian Walker, Anthony Rizzo, Ryan Mountcastle, Justin Turner, Andrew Vaughn, and Lamont Wade. And your tier 4, wish you had better, Ty France, Jose Abreu, and Josh Bell. Honorable mention Tristan Casas as well. I wish you had better.
At the good starter list, and knowing we only have one in the elite, do you like moving Vinny P and Christian Walker into the elite?
No, because I don't.
When comparing them to the rest of the list.
No, because I don't think they are near elite. You gotta stay true to the tier, not just because there's not enough people in the tier.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, I'm not saying that. I'm comparing them to the rest of the good starters. And yeah.
Do I think Vinny P and Christian Walker are on the same level as Lamont Wade and Andrew Vaughn? No, but I don't think those guys are on the same level as Nate Lowe either.
Yeah. Are you saying between Justin Turner and Christian Walker, like Christian Walker is that far ahead of Justin Turner that he deserves to be in the near lead tier?
Yes. Almost.
They're like 10 points different right now, and moving forward, I think Christian Walker has a lower floor than Justin Turner with a higher ceiling. I personally know. I'm happy with where they all ended up.
Yeah, I think I agree with Tommy. I think we have them in the right spots. I also, on the other side of that coin, would say of everybody in that good starter tier, Vinny P and Christian Walker, maybe Andrew Vaughn could end up in the near elite tier by the end of the year.
Agreed. This is just June 8th's take on this. The other guys show improvement. I'd be very happy moving them up to near elite. Just today, I don't believe they are.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, this has been our episode 23, our first base read tier. If you're still hanging with us, let us know what you think of our tiers and who we mistiered. If you think if some of those bottom good starters should have been wish you had better, let us know what you think. I'm Michael. That's Tommy. That's BNB_S. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you guys in the next one.